This is our first video, and we're taking a family trip this year for 4th grade. So this is some footage from Wichita Falls, our first stop after leaving it around noon on Monday, July 31st. Here we are in Raton, New Mexico, Raton. This is at the Raton Pass RV Park. That's our Starlink, and that's our Integra Anthem 44B motorhome, 2017 model. We just got a few months ago. So far, we're loving it. On our motorhome, we tow behind a 2018 Chevy Colorado ZR2. It's been Ashley's truck for about 4 or 5 years, and we have it set up to flat tow with the Blue Ox system. In the back, we've got George's dirt bike and Ashley's Super 73 and my dirt bike, my mountain bike, and George has his mountain bike. This campsite is our first change of weather that we got, and man, it was great. There are a lot of black bears up here, so we had to really pick up our campsite at night just to make sure the bears wouldn't come in and try to eat our food. Here I got some hamburgers and some okra cooking on my trusty old Coleman grill. That baby's quite seasoned. Here's Freckles lounging in the RV in front of the fireplace, her favorite spot. And there's George. With the Starlink satellite, we've been able to get the Ranger games and the Cowboy preseason games, so it's been really good. Freckle Presh. She's the best traveling dog we've ever had. She doesn't hardly bark at all unless she wants to go outside. Here's the rig setup. This is on the pass right before Lake City. I believe this is where the Rio Grande starts. So the Rio Grande River. This is like the headwaters of the Rio Grande. That's what we're looking at down there. Yeah, the same river that flows all the way to the Gulf of Mexico is the southern border of Texas. This is the best map I've seen of the Alpine Loop. This is kind of the off-road area where we're going. Here we're eating dinner in Lake City. Lake City, Colorado is a cool town where you can drive your side-by-sides and off-road vehicles in town. This place is called Southern Biddles, I think. I had a chicken fried steak here. It was really good. Back at the RV. So this is the next morning early, San Cristobal Lake. This is the southern part of the Alpine Loop that goes from Lake City to Cinnamon Pass. We're not quite going to go all the way to Cinnamon Pass. We're going to the trailhead for Redcloud Peak, which is a 14er, which is a very tall mountain that we're going to hike, and it's about a 10-mile round trip hike. It was really difficult. There's some deer we saw on the way. They got the velvet still on the antlers there. Really pretty. I can't recommend this area of Colorado, San Juan Mountains. I can't recommend it enough. We come here every August usually, and it's one of my favorite spots. Freckles likes to ride with her paws on the console so she can see out. Okay, so we've started the hike here. George has his little backpack with his camelback in there. And the first part of the hike, the first mile or so, is in the trees. And here, everybody had their jackets on because it was cold. And now a mile into the hike, everybody's hot, so George is stripping off his jacket because he's burning up. Freckles has her backpack on. She's got some water, her milk bones, and her poop bags in there. You gotta carry your own weight in this family, Ashley said, so we got her that. Yeah, her backpack's also, it's easier to harness. It's easier to hold her back because this whole hike she was trying to chase the chipmunks and the marmots to kill them, and So I really kind of had to hold her back, and the collar just won't cut it. So the backpack is kind of like a chest harness. This was a really beautiful hike, but it's not a beginner hike. This thing was tough, and Ashley and George actually turned around right before the peak because it got pretty dicey on some of the scree, some of the loose rocks up there. George is really getting big. You know, the weather, you're talking like it in this shot here, I bet it's in the high 50s, maybe 60. Lake City, it was 65 degrees. And it was roughly, August 10th or something like that. No, it was August, somewhere early August. I can't remember what day it was. There's some George playing in some of the ice still on the ground. Freckles wondering what it is. There's a chipmunk. These guys are everywhere. Freckles can't stand it. Look at her. Just wanting to get after it. Right here we can kind of see one of the faces of Redcloud. It's not the top. We can't really see the top. Every time we hike, it's you never can really tell. There's all these false summits. There's false peaks where you think that must be it, and it's always a little further than you think. All right, here's a nice meadow above the tree line. So this was probably the most beautiful spot of the hike, and very secluded. I think we passed like 3 hikers on this whole hike, but essentially it's 5 miles up to Redcloud Peak, and then 5 miles back, and the whole time it's just kind of straight up. You can go on to Sunshine Peak if you want to walk a little further, and I'll show you that when I show you the view from the top. The key to hiking is just biting off a little bit at a time, taking little rest breaks, and just keep moving, and you'll eventually get there. But a lot of people give up early. So you think that's Redcloud, but it's just part of Redcloud. There's the trail, kind of goes up the hill there, it goes up. That's the ridge line. So here, I think I made it to the top of the ridge line, yeah. So you can see over the other side, and man, the wind was kicking like crazy when we got up there. You see that? Yeah. That one on the left that I just showed you, the one on the left was Redcloud. You can see because the red dirt. Sorry, I got my fingers in the shot there. So when we got to the top of that ridge, the wind really started blowing and it got cold, so we put our windbreakers on. When you hike, you always want a windbreaker and a base layer, so like a puffy down jacket to go under this thing, and then see what I have on. It's like a rain jacket / wind jacket. It just cuts that wind out for you, because otherwise it gets too cold up there. You can't really hear what I'm saying because of the wind, but I think I'm saying that it's cold and morale is kind of dropping here. George is, God bless his legs are tired at this point. See, he's laying down here, kind of saying he's done. He's done for the day. It's high enough, and I agree. So at this point, George and Ashley are going to go back down. Right after this point, there's some loose rocks, and it's kind of dangerous. These are some good portraits I took of Freckles. This dog's the best. And here's Ashley on the side of the mountain. Very beautiful as always. The air is super thin. If you've ever been to Colorado, okay, so here's Freckles and I on top of Redcloud. We just finished. She's eating a milk bone. You can see we're higher than all the other mountains around it. So down that ridge and that next peak down there is Sunshine Peak, also a 14er. If you have time, you can go down and do that, but you have to come back the way you came. So this was enough for me and Freckles because Ashley and George were headed back to the truck, and there was this other dude up there that didn't really talk much. I tried to introduce myself, and he was on his own space, didn't really want to talk, so whatever. You see the red cloud, the red dirt on top of the peak. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool 14er to do from Lake City. It's easy. It's not easy, but it's easy. It's easy to get there from Lake City. It takes about 1 hour and 15 minutes to get there from Lake City to the trailhead. And you need a 4x4. Freckles looking at the shadows. Okay, this is us coming back, and if you look, that flat mountain right there, that is Uncompahgre Peak. Me and my friends, Dan, Adam, and Robert hiked that a few years ago. It's also a 14er. See, George has a helmet. We put on, when it got dicey, we made him put his helmet on, just for safety. And this is us walking back. Here's a marmot that makes the squeal kind of like a cell phone being going like ping, bing, bing. But drove Freckles completely crazy. Of course, she can't really find it. She's looking down. Oh, there she is. She's looking at it. This is some instructions on how to poop outdoors. And this, I burnt 1,838 calories on that hike. So this is post-hike. This is my favorite place to eat in Lake City, called Alpacker's Cannibal Bar and Grill. So we're having a beer, or a margarita in my case, and a pizza. Thanks for watching part 1, and the next video will have Ouray. And so we're going to go from Lake City, going to drive to Ouray and have about a week there. Thank you. Bye.